For the next couple of days, I will not be working on boats. I am going to be flying co-pilot with my buddy Danny on his plane, and we are flying to New Orleans for some business meetings. He needed a co-pilot. I'll be meeting up with him here in a little bit, and we'll be hopping in his Merlin C3, and away we go. I'm looking forward to it. Should be a fun trip. So it doesn't happen very often, but sometimes I get calls to go on mega yachts. So we're going to that guy right there. It's 200 feet long. They're always at the end of the dock. So let's go see. I don't know if I'll be able to bring you guys on board. Sometimes they make me sign non-disclosure statements and things, and sometimes they let me film, sometimes they don't. So we'll go find out. Oh man, look at that thing. They have a walk-in freezer or something that's not working right. They called me to come take a look. I know they have a chief engineer on board, but I guess, I don't know, maybe he doesn't do refrigeration, so they called me up. We're gonna go take a look. How much do you think that costs a day to run? Or how much do you think it is for a weekly rental, if you can rent it? I don't know if it's private or what. How we doing?
Good. Are you working on that?
Yep.
Big project.
Oh yeah, we'll see. All right, yeah, she is a monster. So I just finished up on that 200 footer. I wish I could have brought you guys along with me. Couldn't film on the boat. Anyways, it was absolutely spectacular inside, as you would expect. I managed to get the refrigeration straightened out in the freezer. One of them was low on refrigerant, and I found a sight gauge in an adjoining space, so I was able to service that up and get the sight gauge filled, and the pressures were right and the temperature was coming down when I was leaving. And then I went up to the galley where they had another refrigerator standalone, and somebody that didn't know what they were doing as far as refrigeration goes had totally over-serviced the thing, was full of liquid refrigerant, is too much. So I drained some of that off, the charge off, and reserviced it, got it working, and they were very happy. They're good to go. Like I said, I wish you guys could have been there with me. The boat is so big that they have an aft hold that has a swing hatch on it, and they had a 38-foot, I think it was a Valhalla in there. So they have this 200-foot yacht, and then they have this huge Valhalla in the back of the boat that I think they must lift it up, and then the deck drops down and it goes out. That's what it looked like to me. So it was pretty amazing. All right, AJ, just a little more. Hold it down for 2 seconds. All right, nice. This is gonna work. We just have to do it again. All right, what I'm doing is the poor man's descaling on these engines. He doesn't have strainers, so I don't have a way to get into them good. So I took the intake hose off, and we're just pouring descale fluid into the intake hose, and then we're gonna let this motor sit for half an hour, then we'll flush it. Okay. Again. Again. 2 seconds. All right, 2 more seconds. Okay, we're good. Come on down, turn that ignition off, come on down. Go ahead and put this hose back on and put the hose clamps on there for me. So what we did was, let me explain this to you real quick. He doesn't have a strainer on his engine, so it's just straight from the through hull into the pump. So we just closed the through hull back there, took the hose off, and then just like we did, we took the hose, we drained the salt water out, and then we filled it full of descaling fluid, and then we started the motor just for a second and sucked it in. So now it's sitting in the motor, and we're going to hook that back up, and we're going to let the motor sit for half an hour. Okay. And we're going to try to get into this one next. Did you get that all the way on, that hose, Bob? Yep. It's all the way down? Yep. Okay. Oh, open that through hull back up for me. So pull it towards you. Be a little gentle, it's a little crusty. Let me go back here. All right, let's see if you can get this hose off over here. Close the through hull, and then there's 2 hose clamps again. And see if you can get that hose off. If not, we'll have to pull this couch out of here and pull this panel right here. This one didn't really get us anything. Yeah, it just need to be tighter. The hose clamps, there. Let's see if I can get this thing. All right, now that worked. All right, let's get that hose off there. And what you're gonna do is take the hose off. If you need to, you can hook this in the bottom and pull. Don't puncture the hose, but just use this to pull up on it. We're gonna hand it to me right here.
Okay.
All right. We're trying to get that hose on there. I'm gonna reach down there and give him a hand, so I'm gonna have to set you guys down. Okay, go ahead and start the starboard side. Oh boy. All kinds of stuff coming out. Wow. Yeah, I wonder when the last time these were done. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's hard to see, but there's like a big cloud of stuff just flushing out the engine, out the exhaust. That starboard lever right there, yeah, rev that up just a little bit. All right, we'll just let that idle for a minute. Oh, see that black stuff coming out? How it's sinking down? That's all a bunch of soot and carbon and all kinds of crap. Rust, a bunch of shells and all kinds of junk. I'm gonna go rev it up a little bit. All right, let's put stuff back together and wrap this up. So let's talk about air conditioning life, how long an air conditioning unit should last. These are Webasto FCF series air conditioners. They're good ones. I've seen air conditioners last anywhere from 2 years to probably the longest I've ever seen was 15, maybe more. So this is a split unit. So that means this is the compressor and the condenser right here, water-cooled condenser. And then what it does is it pumps Freon refrigerant to the evaporator, which is up in the stateroom, and then it absorbs the heat and brings it back. If you're going to have an air conditioner last for 12, 15 years, you need to be on top of it. You need to be cleaning that thing every month. See this rust down here? That'll eventually cause problems. That all needs to be cleaned up. The filters need to be cleaned. The evaporator coils need to be cleaned. It needs to be kept in a clean, dry area, preferably not exposed to salt air. If you do all those and you're anal about it and you stay on top of it, like I said, you can definitely extend the life of them. The other thing you need to do is keep this condensing coil where these hoses hook up to. That needs to be kept clean by flushing, and we use a descaling system to do that, and that will help keep the units from running hot and drawing too many amps, which is hard on the compressor. That's really about it for these units. If you're anal about them and you take care of them, they'll treat you all right. Sometimes, depends. I've had some that didn't last 6 months, but that's because of warranty issues. So anyways, that's it. I'm going with Danny. We're going to New Orleans, walking out to the plane right now. Danny called me and asked if I could sit second seat, which is co-pilot, because this plane you have to have 2 people. So I'm going to go with him.
Tango 5, try to send and maintain 3,000. Tower good, Adrian, up 1179 down left, base outside of Povey for runway 2.
All right. So here we are, safe on deck in New Orleans. And man, if you think it's hot in Key West, wow. You should come here. Got it. I'm good. Just cooling them off? I already got the bags and the food in the truck.
Thank you.
He's always told me he had a trucking company, and I didn't know. I'm envisioning UPS, trucking company, something like that. And it totally was wrong. I was on another planet as far as what he does. So what they do, they take brand new trucks and they customize them to the client or owner's specification. And it's all work trucks. So putting on toolboxes, fuel tanks, cranes, all kinds of stuff. It's some pretty cool stuff, and he does really high quality work. They usually do a lot of their own fabrication and build their own equipment. So this is us departing New Orleans. We were flying in my buddy Danny's C3 Merlin. It's a twin turboprop airplane. And if I remember right, it can hold 11 or 12 people. That's max. But most of the time when he flies, it's usually just him and one other person. Sometimes they're 2 dogs. We're just taxiing the flight signature to, they're the ones that take care of the plane when we get there. It's beautiful, the weather's good. It was hot, but it's nice. Clear skies for the most part. We are climbing out, and then we turned over the Mississippi River on our way heading out to the Gulf. We got out in the Gulf and we had our flight. We still made it back in 2 hours. We're starting to line up for our approach into Key West. The weather is getting a little bit sporty. We actually went IMC, instrument meteorological conditions. which means you can't see anything. I looked out the wing, but you can't even see the wingtip. That's how cloudy and rough we were bouncing all over the place. It didn't bother me. I loved it. I had a great time. I would love to do it again. And you can see we're just going below. So we had to ask air traffic control for multiple different altitudes and go around stuff and go drop down to different altitudes and climb back up a couple times. And now we're getting a free freshwater wash down. It's raining. Imagine flying at 300 knots and having raindrops hit you. It pretty much cleans everything off. So now we're on final, coming into land at Key West International Airport. And we're going to be having pretty much a straight in approach. Though it's cloudy, but the weather at the actual airport is not bad at all. We've smoothed out. It's not nearly as bumpy, no gusting or anything. And we're just going to do a pretty much straight in landing to the runway there at Key West. We got the weather report for the runway, and it gives the conditions at the airport, at the runway. Bump, there we go. Safe on deck.